Well, I got all jazzed up to make this video, and freaking, I even said some really funny shit, and then bloody 2 minutes in, my phone, that's a phone by the way, that I'm looking at, 2 minutes in, my phone decides its memory card is full and stopped recording. So, you missed all the fantastic jokes and funny times and me doing a strip show. I was talking about this. Notice how this is an HD camera, but it's not getting used. A Baiyi HD camera, $99.99 off eBay. Notice how I'm recording this on my phone and I'm holding the HD Baiyi camera. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Anyway, their customer service is fantastic and I'll be getting my money back according to the email I got the other day. Now I'm going to talk about something I would have not had to have done. I'm going to talk about rich people. Rich people. If I was rich, which I'm not, if I was rich, I wouldn't have had to buy this fantastic HD camera, which says, the biggest problem I have with this is it says HD. Catch my drift? It says HD. And somewhere, see even there, I don't know if you can see that, even there it says 1080p, not sure what that means, but it means it's supposed to be good. It says 1080p, full HD, it says that. Like I said, their customer service is fantastic, and if I could meet the person who was representing them, who's been emailing me for the last couple of weeks, if I could meet this person, I'd buy them a beer. Their customer service is top-notch, and I can't believe there is actually customer service out there as good as that, and I can't believe there's HD cameras out there as bad as this. Amazingly, they're both coming from this. I'm not sure if they're the same company. The customer service is actually Baiyi. Probably can't see my head anymore. Where is his head? I can't see it. Oh, I've left the fan on. I normally turn the fan off. Well, if you've just watched my delicious rant about Australia, you'll know that the original plan for the rant was to do a rant about rich people, and then I got really sidetracked and ended up doing a rant about Australia. Now, I'm not going to get sidetracked again. I'm going to fucking do this rant about those good old rich people. Okay, so you probably read the title of this. Why are rich people rich? Why? Why are rich people rich? You're probably thinking, well, because in their bank account there's a shitload of numbers in a row, and that means they're rich. It's like, yeah, I know that they are rich, but why are they rich? You ever walked up, you had a set of lights, you listen to your favourite radio station, you turn it up, and it's like, 7 AM in the morning, got the windows down, and then you see some guy fucking drive up in his Bentley. He's got a Bentley number down. You ever got out of your car, turn the radio down first, walk out of your car and knock on the guy with the Bentley's door. Hey Bentley man, why are you rich? Why? Now, why are rich people rich? 2/3 of the time, it's very, very easy to explain. 2/3 of the time, Mr. Bentley man would have to wind down his window. And then go, why are you rich? I got it from my daddy. My daddy was rich, and then he gave me some money to help me be rich, and then he died, and then I got even richer. Two-thirds of rich people inherited the money, so they didn't actually do anything. They're just, why are they rich? Because their parents were rich. End of story. That's the boring part. Who gives a shit? That's your answer. 2/3 of those people driving around in Mercedes S-classes, BMW 750i's, I'm actually a big car guy, 750i, and Audi A8 W12, 6 litres of W12 madness. At Bentleys and Rolls Royces and Ferraris and fucking shit like that. 2/3 of them, basically, their daddy paid for it. So we don't have to go into detail about that. The interesting part is that 1/3 of people who were rich but didn't get it from their old man. How did they get rich? Why are they rich? Three different reasons. There's 3 different avenues. 3 different avenues how a person got rich on their own accord. Now, I'm trying to think whether I'll just list the 3 off and then go into detail, or keep you in suspense and go into detail about one, and you'll be like, what's the next one, what's the next one, what's the next one? I've got to watch to the end. Just right off the 3, fuck it. 1, pure drive. Just pure will to do it. I must be rich. I must be rich now. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get rich. Drive. 1. 2, lemming syndrome. 3, pure, utter luck. That's it. I'll start with luck and lemming syndrome, because the willpower one is the one that is actually the most complicated. Luck and lemming syndrome are pretty simple to explain. Luck. How can you luck out and get rich? Okay, sure. You could win the lotto. Or you could marry someone that's rich. Like, for example, you have a friend of a friend, and then you meet them and you get along, and then you find out they're rich as fuck, and then you end up marrying them, and they just happen to be rich. So you lucked out, essentially. There's a lot of luck's a very strange thing. There's a lot of complicated and specific types of luck. I'm going to make another movie about chain reaction theory, and if you've watched Chain Reaction Theory, the video that I haven't made yet, but you might be watching this and it's like in the past, and I haven't made it between you watching this and me making it. Right. If you understand chain reaction theory, you can understand how you could just luck out on a certain link, and that shoots your life off into a completely different direction, i.e. you get rich off, you lucked out on a link, and that's started a chain reaction in this sort of direction where you end up being rich. You essentially lucked out. I don't want people to get the wrong impression of when I say luck. But for now, get the wrong impression all you want. I'll get into the other ones. Okay, Lemming syndrome. Now, there's a certain type of people. This is very subconscious. There's a certain type of person that their subconscious is wired in a way to just follow the crowd in pretty much every respect, or not even necessarily just blindly follow the crowd. They might even just blindly follow what they've been told to do. And this has got into their subconscious somewhere as a child, and that's just what they're doing now. These people are everywhere. How their subconscious got wired that way can come from a lot of different angles. But how it gets there is not really important. So these people basically, they go to school. Now society says, be good at school. And they think, society's telling me to be good at school. They're lemmings, right? Society says, be good at school. So I'm going to be good at school. And then they finish school. Society says, go to university and get a good degree. Thinking, okay, well, society says, go to university and get a good degree. So I'll do that. And then they finish university, and then they say, well, what's society telling me to do now? So on and so forth. This is not really a bad thing at all, I think in a way people with Lemming syndrome are actually really lucky, because if you don't have Lemming syndrome, then you sort of question everything. You just want to do things your own way. You're not going to listen to society. You're going to do things your own way. But a lot of the time, when it comes to money, in particular when it comes to money, following the crowd is not such a bad way to go. And this is, what did I say, luck, Lemming syndrome. So luck's pretty complicated in a way, but winning the lottery, marrying someone with a lot of money. I didn't prepare notes on this luck part because I thought I'd be able to just rattle it off. But I mean, it's in my brain, luck. But chain reaction's really a big part of it. And there's lots of ways people can luck out with money. Lemming syndrome, just blindly following society, what society's telling them to do, and they do this, blah, 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 and they end up getting rich. And the other one is just pure willpower. They don't have Lemming syndrome, because in a way, Lemming syndrome mentality is a bit limiting. Lemmings, because in order to get really rich, you have to think outside the box. Like if you think Bill Gates, for example, he didn't have Lemming syndrome. He actually quit university halfway through, which is not what society tells you to do. So there's a bit of a limit to Lemming syndrome. I don't think Lemming syndrome people are ever going to get really rich. They might get to the point where they're worth 10 million or something if they're lucky enough. But Lemming syndrome's never going to get them really rich. So, you haven't lucked out, you don't have much control over that. You don't have a subconscious built for Lemming syndrome. So, there's only one option left. Pure willpower. Willpower. Now, willpower can't be plucked out of thin air. It's like, someone says to you, hey, you, get rich now. You're like, oh, right, fuck, what do I have to do? You're like, fuck, loads of hard work and a lot of fucking thinking and planning and taking on a lot of risks. Go do it. And you're thinking, geez, that'd take a lot of willpower. And I'm like, yep, get willpower. It's not like, oh, right, I'll just go get willpower. Here's willpower. Yeah, sweet, I'm fine now. It doesn't work like that. Willpower can't really be, just can't be plucked out of thin air. Willpower is something a lot of people will never get. They will. This is why poor people poor. Is because they never get this willpower to be rich. They never get it. And even if they do, it mightn't last very long. Like to get the willpower to get rich has to lock in and stay there until they're rich, and then they can sort of just relax and go, last this time here, fucking oath. But it needs to last long enough for them to get rich. So where does this willpower come from? Can't be plucked out of thin air. You know, society sort of gets this, gives you this impression. It's like, get willpower, and like, here it is. I'll just put this here. I have willpower now. I had breast cancer 2 years ago. Get it? Don't mean that kind of breast cancer. So where did it come from? It's taken me a fair while to come to this conclusion. Like I don't mean I've just been thinking about it for 5 minutes and it took me to the 5th minute to think about it, to realise it. It took me a while to realise that, in a way, we're very slaves to circumstance, human beings, whether we like it or not. Willpower can't be manufactured. Willpower comes in its own time. And in a way, we do kind of, you know, if you want to get rich, you got the idea. If you want to get rich, you need willpower, right? You don't have Lemming syndrome, subconscious not built for Lemming syndrome. You didn't work it out. Parents didn't give you millions and millions and millions of dollars and a couple of businesses. How do you get rich? Willpower. How do I get that? Well, you can't. There is, however, so you can't just get willpower. It comes in its own time. You know, just go, well, you don't have enough money. Go get more. What do I need to do? You need willpower. Yeah, right, there it is. Yeah, I've got it now. I'm right. I don't know how many times I have to explain that. I kind of think it's funny though, so I have to get this point across. Yeah, you can't pluck willpower out of thin air and say you have it now. So, there is, you're not a total slave to circumstance. Although I do think, especially if you look at society and, you know, people who don't have Lemming syndrome, people who haven't lucked out and weren't born with money, you know, these people with just done it through sheer willpower. Okay, well, I think I'm repeating. Am I repeating myself? I'm a bit tired. That's my excuse. Now, how do these people, the remainder of society, get this willpower? There has to be something driving them towards being rich, and their vision of where they want to be requires money, and their vision is just locked into their brain, repeating itself, 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 repeating itself in their brain. They are addicted to this visual image they have in their head about why they want to be rich. They are addicted to it. To them, getting rich is like smoking cigarettes. It's like just have to have it. Have to have it. Have to be moving towards it. Have to do it. That's all their brain is doing. It's going, freaking, we must be rich now. And it just pulls them in that direction. And this image is just going nuts, and nothing is going to stop them getting in the way of their image, because this image in their head is going haywire, and it's not going to stop until they get there. And no one is going to get in their way. They don't want to be rich, they just are going to be rich. And they're going to do whatever it takes. Because this image is powerful. How do you get that image? You need that image. You need that drive. You need that obsession. That I will drop everything to be rich, because that's all I can fucking think about. How do you get that? See, the way they got that could be through a number of reasons. It's often an event in their childhood or youth. Occasionally a negative event. Maybe it's an event where they felt powerless and they thought, they came to the conclusion as a young child, the only way I can overcome this in the future is to be rich. And this is a sort of a fear they picked up as a child, and it's so powerful because they picked it up young, primacy, and in order to protect themselves from this, they have to be rich. So they're or it could be for something positive. Maybe when they were younger, they had a brief encounter with someone who was really rich, and they sort of were completely blown away by this experience, and ever since they just obsessed over this brief experience, and that becomes the image in their head, and that's pulling them towards it. Could be a number of reasons, but they haven't manufactured this image artificially. It's sort of come to them by chance. This image has come to them by chance, which is, when I was saying luck's complicated, they've kind of lucked out too. They've had an event in their childhood that the vast majority of us didn't have, or we interpreted a different way to them. And that image has come to them without them really realising it. They haven't put it there on purpose. That image has come from here and gone through their head, and now it's there. And now they're being pulled towards that image. So, if you're not rich, and you have to have this dire need to be rich, it has to be an obsession, it has to be an addiction. How do you get that? Image in your head keeps replaying, must be rich, must be rich, must be rich, must be rich. It's like the same image we have in our head about sex. We need sex, constantly thinking about needing more, now. They've got that about money. Think about how hard you work to get sex, especially if you're a male. Think of all the hours you put in, and freaking, you go out and you chat to this girl, chat to that girl, and you get a phone number, and you're texting it, like, come on, meet up, what is she doing? Fuck it, and then you try another one. Imagine, and then you just go to work, you do it half in your sleep, like, it's time to get laid. Who's out tonight? Imagine you had that image, you had that drive for money, you had to. That's what you need. Now, most people got this image kind of lucked out. They got this image. I'll explain this part anyway. Hope you're paying attention. there is a way you can kind of manufacture this image, sort of. So the people who had an event that created this image, the event came, and then this image came kind of accidentally. You have to have this image on purpose. So you have to deliberately transform your brain. You have to go out there. Alright. I've already explained why rich people are rich. Now I'm explaining how to get rich. I wasn't planned, but anyway. Oh yeah. One thing I just wanted to bring up. Notice how I haven't brought up intelligence here. I've met so many smart poor people, met so many dumb rich people. There's not much of a, there's not much difference in intelligence. Your bank account isn't your IQ. A lot of people like to think it. A lot of rich people like to think it is, but it's not. All money proves is that you have money. Okay, so I'll quickly finish off how to get rich. So you need this image in your head. Jim Carrey, of all people, actually explains this really well. And what he used to do is he would, before he was famous, he would drive up to the top of the mountain on Hollywood, whatever the fuck that's called. He'd drive up to the mountain on Hollywood, sit at the top of the hill, and you'd look down. He wanted to be this famous actor or whatever, and he looked down over Hollywood, and he would purposely put these images in his head of him being successful, him, doing interviews and shit, and how he was going to get there, and he'd, on purpose, flood his head with these images. Now, after a while, once he's done this enough, it actually changes your subconscious. It will, because your subconscious has been flooded with these images so much, it starts to become a bit obsessed with them. See what I mean? Now, when it comes to how to get rich, this ain't the only how to get rich video out there, but I can tell you that this is really the key, because you need willpower. I don't give a fuck how many videos you watch about how to get rich. You need fucking willpower. If you don't have that, just fucking go do something else. Go swim in the river. Don't bother with all these self-help videos, because all these self-help videos, you need for anything in life, willpower. If you have willpower, you will succeed. If you don't, you will fail. And all these freaking self-help videos out there, all they're trying to do is light that spark. Willpower either comes on its own. With most people, it just comes on its own, or you can go through a lot of effort to manufacture willpower. But if you don't have willpower, you're fucked. So don't bother watching all these self-help videos until you have willpower. You've got to flood your brain with the image of you succeeding and how you're going to get there. That's really that movie, The Secret. I haven't actually seen it, but that's basically the same idea. Anyway, I got a long way off track. I was only going to talk about how rich people are rich, how they got rich, and ended up being a big rant about how to get rich. So if you get rich one day, you can thank Blue Singlet Boy and his sensitive nipples.